We begin tonight with a major update with a series of missing people out of Texas, missing young women. This is a story that we've been all over. And again, this isn't the outcome that we wanted right before New Year's, or really any time. Authorities confirm that a 14-year-old, Sophia Gabriela Peters Cobos, has been found alive. So this is the good part. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office announced just hours ago Sophia is safe after a frantic search that began when she disappeared from her home in San Antonio last night. But that feeling of relief is tempered with a feeling of dread. And this is why I've been sounding kind of negative about this whole thing. Investigators say that they have also recovered a body that may be another missing teen, 19-year-old Camila Mendoza Olmos. Camila vanished on Christmas Eve during an early morning walk. It's a story we've been all over. She was in San Antonio. You remember this video? She was last seen around 7 a.m., not far from her home. On this is actually dash cam video of her walking down the street, which, by the way, now we're not even positive this is her based on these new developments, but it could be. While police haven't confirmed the dead girl's identity yet, the sheriff says he believes that it is Camila. And it sounds like, based on what the sheriff said, and they're waiting on the medical examiner here, but you could hear it in his voice, and it sounds like he believes that she took her own life. Here is some of what the sheriff said just a couple of hours ago.
During the course of the investigation, we developed some information that there may have been some suicidal ideations on Camila's part before, some signs of depression, undiagnosed as far as we can tell, but from what's being described to us, it sounds like it was a young person going through a very tough time in their life. And I can tell you that we found a firearm very near the body, and in this particular case, we were actually looking for a firearm as well that had come up missing.
So again, it doesn't sound like good news. We're waiting on the official report from the medical examiner, but this is obviously not the outcome that we wanted when we first told you last night about the search for Camila. But we've also highlighted a third missing person case, and please listen closely to this one, because this one is important, because this young woman is still missing, and we want to get the word out. 24-year-old Sydney Marquez. This is now in El Paso. She's from El Paso, but she actually disappeared December 11th while visiting friends in Houston. And there's a surveillance video that shows Sydney walking near where she was staying around midnight. And you can see her there. There's a red circle. And police say that's her actually walking. She was apparently trying to get to the hotel where she was staying. And her friends were there. Her phone was there. Everybody was waiting for her. So you see her in the video, and then you literally see nothing after that. Her car was later found abandoned in southwest Houston. There's been searches happening, but no sign of Sydney. I talked to her parents last night. Wonderful young woman. She's a neuroscience graduate, very, very smart, and her parents have been pleading for help and for hope.
The last time we saw her, it's about 12:27 a.m. She's literally 150 yards from her hotel. So she was trying to get to her hotel, but for some reason or another, she kept going westbound on Harlan, and that's the last footage we have. Every indication shows that she was heading back to her hotel. Her phone's there, her iPad's there, her class ring was there, her clothing is there. There's just no explanation why she didn't make it back to her hotel. She right there, she just needed to turn left.
Something does not make sense there, and that's what I want to talk to these two gentlemen about. I want to bring in two people who know a lot about high-profile cases. We've got Jon Buehler. He's a retired detective who investigated the Scott Peterson case. And I also want to welcome to the show TJ Ward, who is a private investigator who worked on the Natalee Holloway case. I appreciate you both for being here. TJ, I want to start with you with the case of Camila. You know, we're all hoping for the best. Such a tragic case in San Antonio. It sounds like, I mean, the sheriff pretty much said it without saying it. I mean, it sounds like they believe that they found her, TJ.
Well, one of the things that you have to do, I guess, being a parent, you need to see and watch changes of your child to see what things may be going on with them, or that something may be happening to them. And obviously, this girl had some problems. Maybe at home or with her her suicide and this, so on and so forth. So one of the things you have to do is keep up with your child. I had the same problem with mine, who got hooked on drugs, and ironically, when he was 31, I put him into a halfway house, and he was doing great. 9 months, no drugs, and one night he had a weak moment and called 2 drug dealers back in drug, and the drugs killed him. I was in the midst of doing a TV show for the disappearance of Natalee Holloway. I had to stop the show for 10 days to bury my son. So one of the things you do as a parent, you have to stay close attention of changes that are with your children. You really do. I mean, it's just, and I knew mine had a problem with drugs, and that's why I put him in a halfway house. And shortly thereafter, he called a drug dealer and went right back to his old habit, and it killed him.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah,
and I was in the
didn't know
midst
that,
of doing a
TJ.
TV show. Yes, I was doing a TV show. I was about to go back to Aruba, do the last show with Natalee Holloway's father, with the disappearance of Natalee Holloway. And I got woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning 3 days before, and he was on his way to the hospital unresponsive, and shortly after that passed away.
Yeah, so you can certainly sympathize with Camila's family. I mean, you got to, my heart goes out to them tonight getting this news and trying to process it. And we had heard that she was, had some emotional issues, was upset about something with school, and then the gun was missing. So again, it's a terrible outcome. Jon, I want to ask you about the Sydney story, though, because there's still a lot of hope there. I spoke to her parents last night on the show. Neuroscience graduate, beautiful young woman. There, you saw that surveillance video, Jon, and then literally just vanishes. What do you make of that situation?
Well, once again, we see this, frequently in life. People will go out late at night, and that's when bad things happen. I can't tell from the video whether or not she was intoxicated or not, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be a great outcome on the whole thing. I don't like to be a pessimist, but when she leaves her phone, she leaves her iPad or clothing behind, and she apparently had some emotional issues in the past, wasn't using her meds. These are all things that kind of collide and lead to potentially a bad outcome. It's entirely possible that time of night in that kind of an area that somebody could have abducted her quickly, not captured on the video, and she could have been taken that way. But generally, you wouldn't think that somebody who is as educated as she is, comes from the kind of family she does, doesn't appear to lead an at-risk lifestyle, would have something like this happen. But when you go out late at night, and especially if you are using alcohol or something like that, you just add to the risk factor.
Yeah, and if she's emotionally vulnerable right now, Jon, and maybe not in her right mind, it seems like it makes her more prone to be a victim. I think about like human trafficking. I mean, that all of that seems like a concern just walking down the street right there at that time of night.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is there's a lot of predators that are out running around. They're on parole. They were paroled out of state prison because they had commitment offenses against women. They were granted an early release, and they just decided to go back to their old ways. And we see this frequently, and this is one of the reasons that young gals are very, very vulnerable when it comes to being out at night if they're not with a crowd of their people or in a safe place. And so this is the terrible thing about this. There's always a little bit of optimism that maybe something's going to be okay, but the combination of all the things that came together on this makes me kind of worried about what's going to happen when this all shakes out.
Yeah, for sure, understood. TJ, does the time of year have an impact at all? And what I mean is, we just had Christmas, we've now got New Year's. Does that come into play for investigators when they're looking into these kinds of disappearances?
Well, again, like Jon said, these criminals are out or released, and women are vulnerable, and women shouldn't be by themselves walking along, even if she was intoxicated or drinking. They should not be out by themselves, especially at night. There should have been that's the same thing that happened to Natalee. She went off with these 3 boys and didn't even know them, and that's what caused her problems. But these women need to learn, when they're going, especially in places they've never been or they do frequent, to make sure that they are with somebody else, or a couple, 2 or 3 people, and not be walking alone. They become a great target.
Yeah,
especially with her. And apparently, John said she may have had some emotional backgrounds and drugs and so on and so forth. So there's things that need to be taken into consideration. And she may not have been thinking properly, walking by herself, and she may have been abducted.
Jon, we know that that they've been looking at video. The dad told me yesterday that they've been going to different businesses in the area and that the detective was there too. What else do you think is happening behind the scenes? Obviously, the video component is important, but what else can police be doing right now, Jon, with this investigation? Because I mean, it's been a while now. I mean, she disappeared December 11th.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, that's a big area down there, pretty professional law enforcement agencies that are in that area. So they probably have already started looking at any violent offenders that are out on parole, trying to locate those guys, verify their alibis in and around the time that she went missing. In addition to that, they're talking to family and friends and associates, particularly sisters of a gal like this, and her closest girlfriends can provide a lot of good information on what could be going on. In addition to that, you can throw in there, they're checking all the areas to find cameras that might not have already come forward. And so they're kind of hoping for something like that. Her social media has got to be checked, and I'm sure they're probably already doing that. They're going to have a detective that's got a lot more experience and ability with technology than I had to be able to search that. But there's also clues that can come up in that, whether she's on Instagram or anything like that, that might show something going on, contacts she had. They're probably checking with Mexican authorities to make sure she didn't cross the border and go in there for some reason, and maybe checking cameras at the border, at border points that are nearby that area. But again, it emphasizes the fact that you have to stay away from the intoxicants late at night if you're going to be out walking alone, because that, to me, seems like that might be something that could be involved in this. And if she's not taking her prescribed medication for the emotional problems she had in the past, family members have to insist on that and make sure that she's doing that, because that could lead to bad things also.
Do you know, TJ, because we had someone on the show last night who was looking into this case and said that they were having trouble getting into her phone. There were passwords, there was like an iCloud account. Do you know, TJ, can law enforcement get in? I mean, can they call Apple and get in to see everything that Jon was talking about in terms of who she's been messaging and Instagram and that kind of thing?
They have tools, and we have tools the same way law enforcement does to be able to get into phones. But sometimes it's tricky if you don't know the password. You don't want to break into the phone and delete anything that may be there. So you got to be real careful about that. We take phones right now. We have forensics that work in my firm, and we take phones all the time and look into them and then gather and then download not only what's in there, but what's also deleted. We have the access to do that.
Well, hopefully that's what they're doing right now. Jon, TJ, I really appreciate you both for coming on tonight. Hopefully, I mean, we didn't get a good outcome. It doesn't seem like with Camila, but hopefully, it'd be amazing to have a positive outcome with Sydney. But appreciate both of your time, and I hope you guys have a happy New Year. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.